What's up, my comic brothers and sisters? Today we're going to take a look at the alternate versions of the one and only Nightwing, because who doesn't like Nightwing? He was the first Robin, he took over for Bruce as Batman for a short time, made Damian Wayne the new Robin, and is just all around an epic character. And with the return of Young Justice, it's the perfect timing to run down the alternate versions of the character. So today, that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's talk some Nightwing. Roll that bumper. If you've seen any of our past alternate versions episodes, you know that we always start off with the main version of that character, the one all the other versions are based off of. And in this case, that would be Prime Earth or Earth Zero Nightwing. In short, the DC Universe proper version. I think it's safe to assume whether you're a diehard comic book fan like myself or just a novice, you still know who Nightwing is, or at least have a pretty good idea, as he's literally been deeply embedded into pop culture. But of course, here's a brief rundown anyway. Dick Grayson was originally part of the Flying Grayson Circus Act, but his parents John and Mary Grayson were killed by the mobster Tony Zuko. So Bruce Wayne took Dick Grayson under his wing, which ultimately led to Grayson becoming Batman's sidekick, Robin, the first boy wonder. Over the years, Grayson would grow out of his role as Robin and Batman's sidekick, which led him to take on the new persona, becoming a hero in his own right, Nightwing. If you want a detailed history of how and why he left his role as Robin and became Nightwing, you can go check out our History of Nightwing episode right here. Now, even though our main Nightwing has had many different looks over the years, like his first look from Teen Titans, then his yellow and blue one that most of us remember from the Nightfall storyline, before eventually getting his iconic blue and black in his solo miniseries, then red and black in the New 52, now back to his iconic blue and black. And yes, I'm aware I probably missed some costumes along the way. The point is, it's all the same version of Nightwing. So now let's talk about some different versions. First one up is the Nightwing of Kandor, first appearing in Superman 158 in 1963. This Nightwing, along with his partner Flamebird, have been retconned several times over the years, but in short, they're best known as legendary heroes of the Kryptonian city, Kandor. Post-Crisis, however, we find out in Nightwing Volume 2, Issue 102, via Superman telling Dick Grayson a story, that Krypton once had a hero many centuries before Superman's birth. He was cast out of his family and dreamt of justice and helping the weak. He dreamt of showing his family that he was better than they gave him credit for. So he used his talents and skills to fight those who couldn't fight for themselves. Superman tells Grayson, no one really knew his name, we only called him Nightwing. So not only was the true first version of Nightwing a Kryptonian hero, but now you also know the reason Dick Grayson named himself Nightwing. He named himself after the original Kryptonian Nightwing, as the two had a similar story, but also, he dug the name. Moving along, Supergirl and Power Girl travel to Power Girl's birthplace, the bottled city of Kandor, to rescue Kandor citizens from Ultraman, who is posing as Superman. That's messed up. While there, Power Girl and Supergirl went undercover to hide their identities and took on the new identities of Nightwing and Flamebird, with Power Girl taking on the Nightwing identity. So for 3 issues, Power Girl became Nightwing, and an awesome looking one at that. I mean, it basically looks like a female version of the Hellbat armor. Could you imagine if the Hellbat armor Batman and Power Girl Nightwing teamed up? Bro, that would be dope. By the way, completely random, but how is it that we got an action figure of Power Girl Nightwing, which is great and awesome, I'm not complaining, but we still haven't gotten a figure, statue, or anything of the sort for the Hellbat armor? Come on, DC. I'm just saying. I throw some money at it. Making it rain, making it rain, making it rain, making it rain. Now, staying with Kryptonian versions of Nightwing, we have Nightwing Chris Kent. When the city of Kandor was restored, of course, like the legends, it had to have a Nightwing and Flamebird. And this version of Nightwing just so happened to be the son of Zod, Chris Kent. And Flamebird was friend of Kara Zor-El, named Thara Akvar. This Nightwing is actually pretty powerful. Much like Nightwing Power Girl, they are both Kryptonian. But unlike her, due to him being born in the Phantom Zone, he can create dark creatures, shields, and so on. He's even said that he sees and knows everything that happens in the shadows. Another thing pretty unique to him is that he has resistance to kryptonite, so it takes him much longer to feel the effects of kryptonite. And much like Connor Kent's Superboy, he has a form of telekinesis. But let's move on. Next up is Nightwing Tad Ryerstad, who spells his name differently, with Night being spelled N-I-T-E instead of N-I-G-H-T. He's an orphan turned unstable wannabe vigilante in Bloodhaven who has a skewed look at crime fighting. For instance, the first time we ever see him in Nightwing issue 8, we see him beat the ever-loving crap out of a homeless man in his neighborhood who wasn't even doing anything bad. His only justification for it is that he didn't want lowlives on his block. Imagine if you ran a stop sign, this guy would literally kill you. The real Dick Grayson Nightwing offered to train him, but that didn't go so well. Basically, he thinks he's a hero but is just violent for no reason at all. You know who he actually reminds me of? Lockup from Batman the Animated Series. He thinks he's doing good, but he's just being violent for no reason. Moving along, we have an evil counterpart of Nightwing called Deathwing from DC Rebirth. As I said, he's a villain and evil reflection of Dick Grayson. He was a victim of Professor Pig, who turned him into one of his horrendous creations, a Dollotron. Things are freaking creepy. But what made this version of Deathwing so unsettling, I say this version because we've had prior versions in the past, although very different, is that this version was pretty much on par as far as fighting skills go with Dick Grayson. And even crazier than that, he was brainwashed to think he was Dick Grayson by the villain Dr. Hurt. He ultimately ended up turning to the side of good by getting some redemption and stabbing Dr. Hurt in the chest, but not before Hurt stabbed him right back and the two seemingly killed each other. All in all, he's a terrifying version of Nightwing. Who am I kidding? All of Professor Pig's Dollotrons are terrifying. Definitely wouldn't want to wake up to that in the middle of the night. Freaking creepy. Make me pee and poop my pants. I don't like dolls, man. Just keeping this Nightwing train rolling, we have Jason Todd Nightwing. That's right, my dudes. Jason Todd ditched his Red Hood outfit and put on old Dick's. I don't know what to tell you. His name's Dick. It is what it is. It all went down starting in Nightwing issue 118 during DC's 1 Year Later event. Long story short, the comic opens up with a scene of a murdering version of Nightwing slitting a kidnapper's throat. We see that this Nightwing all of a sudden is basically acting like the Red Hood, which makes sense because by issue 119, we find out it is the Red Hood. We learn that Jason Todd decided to drop his Red Hood outfit and put on Nightwing, since Nightwing was gone for a while. But even when eventually confronted by Dick Grayson Nightwing, we see Jason has no intention of giving up the Nightwing persona, and keeps using it knowing it full well it's Dick's persona. Jason's even like, bro, we're partners now, it's fine. By the end of the story, Jason Todd is captured by some mobsters, at which point Grayson reluctantly saves him, and the two defeat said mobsters. After this, Jason Todd would finally leave the Nightwing mantle to Grayson. It was a really cool story and awesome to see Jason Todd as Nightwing. You guys know that Red Hood is my jam. But this story didn't only give us Jason Todd Nightwing, we also got a female Nightwing, Cheyenne Fremont. In short, she's a metahuman with telekinetic powers who made a Nightwing costume to help Dick Grayson save Jason. She was short-lived, but still worth a mention. Next up, we have Injustice Nightwing. Now, we're all familiar with the Injustice universe. Lois Lane is killed, Superman goes crazy, he becomes an evil dictator, half the heroes side with Superman, half the other heroes side with Batman, being like, yeah, that's not great. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, Nightwing being an ally of Batman is like, yeah, Superman is nuts, and continues to fight against him being a normal good superhero. Flash forward one day when Batman, Damian Wayne Robin, and Nightwing are fighting some villains like Two-Face, Calendar Man, and the Riddler. Damian starts beating the crap out of the Riddler, even though he's already down and defeated. Nightwing sees this and is like, Robin, that's enough. Robin doesn't beat people once they're down. And Damian gets all pissed saying, you're not Robin anymore, and throws a baton at an unsuspecting Nightwing's head, hitting him in the temple, knocking him out and causing him to fall backwards on a rock, breaking his neck and killing him. This of course causes Batman to lose it, saying, what did you do? Over and over. Then screaming to Damian, saying, get off of him. Then Batman carries Nightwing's corpse outside the prison, saying, he's gone. I'm abandoned again. My son is dead. Which is one of the most saddest / memorable moments in comics, at least for me. It was just so intense. This all took place during Injustice Gods Among Us Year 1, Issue 16. By Injustice Gods Among Us Year 5, Issue 14, we see Damian getting knocked out by a bunch of villains because he's taking them on alone, being his usual headstrong, not wanting to ask for help self. He then wakes up at the Hall of Justice Infirmary with Cyborg tending to him, saying, by the way, a trunk came for you. Didn't know it was your birthday. Damian reads the letter and it says, what are you waiting for? An invitation? Happy birthday, Dick. You see, Dick Grayson had left the Nightwing costume for Damian, hoping it would be the nudge he needed to set him on the right path. Damian, now the new Nightwing, is greeted by Superman. And Superman says, the costume looks good on you, which is the early stages of Superman beginning to seduce Damian to the dark side. Do it. And lastly, you guys know I love my Amalgam universe, as it takes a Marvel hero and a DC hero, mashes them together, and gives us a brand new one. In Nightwing's case, that would be Moonwing, an amalgamation of Nightwing and Moon Knight. Moonwing first appeared in Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. issue 1. Dick Grayson was a young acrobat at the circus, but was eventually forced to leave when they found out he suffered from a split personality, which would give us the aggressive alter ego called Mark Spector. See what they did there? But Bruce Wayne, who works for S.H.I.E.L.D. in this universe, saw a bunch of potential in Dick. So he recruited him as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., using him as an asset against terrorism. Pretty cool, right? He also kept all of his acrobatic, detective, and fighting skills of Dick Grayson, but with the added bonus of his strength, agility, and reflexes increasing when the moon is at its fullest. So kind of like a werewolf, when there's a full moon, he's at peak power. But those are just some of my favorite versions of Nightwing. I know we probably missed some here and there, but let us know what your favorites are in the comment section down below. First up for the week of July 10th, we have Batman Universe Issue 1. If you're looking for a brand new Batman comic to jump onto, this is your chance, and it's written by Brian Michael Bendis. Next up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man Issue 25. This is a giant-sized issue, and Spider-Man and Mary Jane find themselves in an incredibly tough situation thanks to Electro. Here we have the event of Leviathan issue 2. As the mystery of Leviathan continues to rock the very foundations of the DC universe, the world's greatest detectives gather for the first time anywhere to solve the mystery before it's too late. And finally, we have Venom issue 16. In short, writer Donny Cates has been doing a fantastic job on this series. So if you're a fan of Venom, you need to start reading it. Other than that, remember to follow us on social media like our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links for those are in the description as always. And if you like our channel, be sure to subscribe. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.